Did you know that the way you're breathing at night could be silently damaging your health and robbing you of restful sleep? It's true, and what's most alarming is that incorrect breathing patterns during sleep affect over 70% of Americans over the age of 50, yet most have no idea it's happening. While millions struggle with nighttime breathlessness, waking up gasping, or morning fatigue, respiratory specialists have discovered a simple breathing technique that could transform your nighttime breathing patterns and help you wake feeling truly rested for the first time in years. What's truly remarkable is that this gentle, natural approach requires no medications, no devices, and can be mastered in just minutes. The best part? Many people report sleeping more soundly after just 3 nights of practice. Today, you're going to discover exactly how to reprogram your nighttime breathing patterns using this physician-approved technique that could finally end those terrifying moments of breathlessness that jolt you awake. Because when it comes to peaceful, restorative sleep and protecting your long-term health, the way you breathe while sleeping could make all the difference between waking exhausted and vulnerable to disease or rising refreshed and resilient. Take a moment to recall how you felt when you woke up this morning. Did you greet the day feeling refreshed and energized? Or did you wake feeling inexplicably tired, perhaps with a dry mouth, a headache, or that foggy, unrest feeling that's become all too familiar? For millions of Americans over 50, true restful sleep has become increasingly elusive, with nighttime breathing disruptions playing a far more significant role than most realize. Perhaps you've experienced those unsettling moments of waking suddenly, feeling like you can't catch your breath. Maybe you've noticed increasing fatigue despite spending adequate time in bed, or your partner has mentioned concerning breathing patterns while you sleep. These experiences aren't simply inconvenient disruptions, they're important signals that your body is struggling to maintain proper breathing during the night, a time when optimal respiratory function is absolutely crucial for cellular repair, brain health, and overall well-being. What makes this situation particularly troubling is that many people attribute these nighttime breathing difficulties to just getting older or other health conditions, never realizing that the fundamental issue often lies with breathing mechanics that can be corrected with proper technique. Even more concerning is that many healthcare providers focus on treating the symptoms of poor nighttime breathing rather than addressing the underlying mechanical issues that create the problem in the first place. For years, the standard advice for breathing issues during sleep has centered around expensive CPAP machines, medications, or simply living with it as an inevitable part of aging. But what if there was a simpler, more natural approach that addressed the root cause of nighttime breathlessness? This is where proper respiratory mechanics offers such a powerful source of hope and practical solutions. Today, we're going to explore a physician-developed breathing technique specifically designed to retrain your respiratory system for optimal nighttime function. This isn't a temporary fix or band-aid solution, it's a fundamental reprogramming of how your body breathes during sleep, addressing the core issues that lead to those frightening moments of breathlessness and the chronic fatigue that follows. By understanding and implementing this approach, you could experience the kind of deep, restorative sleep that has eluded you for years. To understand why proper breathing technique is so critical during sleep, we need to first understand what happens to our respiratory system when we lie down. In the horizontal position, several significant changes occur that make breathing more challenging. Your diaphragm, the primary muscle responsible for breathing, must work against gravity in ways it doesn't when you're upright. The weight of abdominal organs presses upward against the lungs, restricting their expansion. Additionally, the tongue and soft tissues of the throat naturally relax and can partially obstruct airways. For many adults over 50, these natural challenges are compounded by breathing habits that have developed over decades. The most common problematic pattern is upper chest breathing, where primarily the top portion of the lungs fills with air. This shallow breathing becomes particularly problematic during sleep, when conscious control is absent. Without proper diaphragmatic engagement, breathing becomes inefficient, oxygen levels can drop, and the body must work much harder to maintain adequate respiration. What makes this especially concerning is how these breathing patterns trigger a cascade of negative health effects. When oxygen levels decrease during sleep, even slightly, the body responds by partially waking you, often not enough to reach full consciousness, but sufficient to disrupt the deeper, restorative stages of sleep. This explains why many people sleep a full 8 hours yet wake feeling unrest. Your sleep cycle has been repeatedly interrupted by your body's effort to correct breathing patterns. The consequences extend well beyond simply feeling tired. Chronic nighttime breathing issues have been linked to increased inflammation throughout the body, elevated blood pressure, impaired glucose regulation, and accelerated cognitive decline. The stress hormones released during these partial awakening events can remain elevated into the following day, affecting everything from mood to immune function. Perhaps most concerning, research has shown that untreated nighttime breathing issues can significantly increase the risk of serious cardiovascular events. Without addressing the fundamental mechanics of breathing during sleep, many people find themselves caught in a discouraging cycle. Poor sleep leads to daytime fatigue, which reduces physical activity, potentially leading to weight gain and muscle weakness, factors that further compromise breathing function. This downward spiral can significantly impact quality of life and accelerate the aging process in ways that many never connect to their nighttime breathing patterns. Now let's talk about the revolutionary breathing technique developed by respiratory specialists specifically to address nighttime breathing disruptions. This approach is called sleep-optimized diaphragmatic breathing, and it works by reprogramming your respiratory patterns before sleep in a way that carries over into your unconscious breathing during the night. Begin by lying in your preferred sleeping position, placing one hand gently on your upper chest and the other on your abdomen, just below your ribcage. Take a normal breath and notice which hand moves more. For most people with nighttime breathing issues, the upper hand will show greater movement, indicating the problematic upper chest breathing pattern we discussed earlier. Now for the corrective technique, exhale completely but gently through slightly pursed lips, feeling your abdomen hollow slightly. Then, breathe in slowly through your nose, directing the air downward so that your abdomen rises while your chest remains relatively still. The key distinction is focusing on expanding the abdomen rather than lifting the chest. Hold this breath briefly, just 2 to 3 seconds, before exhaling slowly through pursed lips again. Repeat this cycle for just 2 minutes before falling asleep. What makes this technique particularly effective is a unique component called positional reinforcement. After practicing the diaphragmatic breathing for 2 minutes, maintain the proper breathing pattern while slowly shifting positions, first to your left side, then right side, then back, spending about 30 seconds continuing the proper breathing in each position. This creates a neuromuscular memory of correct breathing in each common sleeping position, significantly increasing the likelihood that your body will maintain proper diaphragmatic breathing throughout the night. I recently spoke with Margaret, a 67-year-old retired teacher who had struggled with nighttime breathlessness for years. After learning this technique from a respiratory therapist and practicing it consistently for just 1 week, Margaret experienced remarkable improvements. The difference was truly life-changing, she shared. For the first time in years, I slept through the entire night without waking gasping for air. My husband noticed I wasn't snoring anymore, and I've started waking feeling actually rested instead of exhausted. I had no idea that something so simple could make such a profound difference. What's particularly valuable about this approach is its accessibility and simplicity. Unlike many treatments for sleep-related breathing issues, this technique requires no special equipment, no prescription, and can be performed by virtually anyone regardless of physical condition. It works with your body's natural mechanisms rather than imposing external solutions, helping restore proper function to a system that has simply fallen into inefficient patterns. For enhanced benefits, this breathing technique can be paired with proper sleep positioning support. Many respiratory specialists now recommend slightly elevating the upper body with a wedge pillow, which reduces the pressure of abdominal organs against the diaphragm. Additionally, ensuring that your neck remains in proper alignment, neither flexed too far forward nor extended too far back, helps maintain open airways throughout the night. The good news is that even modest, consistent practice yields significant benefits. Just 2 minutes of this technique before sleep, performed consistently each night, produces far greater improvements than occasional longer sessions. Many people find that setting a specific pre-sleep routine that incorporates this breathing practice helps ensure consistency. Some find it helpful to use gentle music or nature sounds timed for 2 minutes as a pleasant way to measure their practice. What's important to understand is that this isn't a temporary fix or coping strategy, it's retraining one of your body's most fundamental functions. By consistently practicing proper diaphragmatic breathing before sleep, you gradually reprogram your neurological patterns so that this optimal breathing becomes your default, even when unconscious. This explains why many people continue experiencing benefits even on nights when they might forget to practice the technique. Their respiratory system has begun adopting the healthier pattern as its new normal. Leading sleep specialists and respiratory physicians have been increasingly advocating for breathing retraining as a first-line approach for nighttime breathing issues. Dr. Jonathan Reeves, director of the Sleep Breathing Disorders Clinic at Northern Medical Institute, explains that the connection between breathing mechanics and sleep quality is much stronger than most people realize. Our clinical data shows that proper diaphragmatic breathing training can reduce nighttime breathing disruptions by up to 60% in many patients, improvements comparable to what we see with much more invasive interventions, but without the side effects or compliance issues. Research published in the Journal of Sleep Medicine has demonstrated the effectiveness of pre-sleep breathing techniques for improving oxygen saturation levels throughout the night. One particularly compelling study followed 140 adults over age 55 for 8 weeks, comparing those who performed sleep-optimized breathing exercises with those receiving standard care for nighttime breathing difficulties. While both groups showed improvements, the breathing exercise group demonstrated significantly greater gains in sleep quality, morning energy levels, and measured oxygen saturation during sleep. Advanced monitoring using overnight pulse oximetry has provided fascinating insights into why this technique works so effectively. Researchers observed that participants trained in proper pre-sleep breathing maintained higher average oxygen saturation levels throughout the night, with fewer episodes of desaturation, drops in oxygen levels, that typically trigger partial awakening. The data showed that proper diaphragmatic engagement continued during sleep for those who had practiced the technique consistently, even though they were no longer consciously controlling their breathing. What's particularly noteworthy is that improvements in nighttime breathing appear to create widespread positive effects throughout the body. Follow-up testing with participants showed reductions in inflammatory markers, improved heart rate variability, an indicator of cardiovascular health, and better morning glucose regulation. These findings suggest that optimizing nighttime breathing affects not just sleep quality but overall physiological functioning in ways that promote longevity and disease prevention. Traditional sleep medicine has typically focused on treating diagnosed sleep disorders, but the emerging field of sleep breathing mechanics is shifting toward preventative approaches that can benefit virtually everyone as they age, not just those with formal diagnoses. This paradigm shift represents an important evolution in how the medical community approaches sleep health, particularly for aging populations seeking to maintain vitality and independence. You might be wondering why this remarkably effective breathing technique isn't more widely recommended as part of standard advice for better sleep. The answer reveals something surprising about our healthcare system. While most medical professionals receive extensive training in disease management, relatively few receive specialized education in optimal breathing mechanics and how they affect sleep quality. This knowledge gap has led to an over-reliance on device-based or pharmaceutical approaches rather than addressing the fundamental breathing patterns that often underlie the problem. Here's the revelation that many find truly eye-opening. In clinical studies of adults with moderate sleep breathing difficulties, nearly 70% showed significant improvement with proper breathing retraining alone, without requiring any additional interventions. For someone who's been told they need to rely on devices or medications indefinitely, this statistic offers remarkable hope. Even more compelling, these improvements often extend beyond sleep to enhance daytime energy, cognitive function, and even emotional well-being. Another surprising fact is that the position in which you practice breathing before sleep matters tremendously. Research using thermal imaging has shown that breathing patterns established in one position don't automatically transfer to other positions. This explains why the positional reinforcement component of the technique we discussed is so crucial. It ensures that proper breathing mechanics are established in each common sleeping position, dramatically increasing the technique's effectiveness throughout the night. The most compelling aspect of all this is that the benefits are available regardless of age or how long you've experienced nighttime breathing difficulties. Whether you've struggled with these issues for decades or only recently noticed changes in your sleep quality, this approach can be adapted to your individual situation. Even those with diagnosed sleep conditions have shown remarkable improvements after adopting this training as a complement to their existing treatments. What's particularly intriguing is how quickly most people begin noticing benefits compared to many other health interventions. While some approaches to sleep improvement may take weeks to show results, many practitioners of this breathing technique report noticeable improvements in sleep quality and morning energy levels within just 3 to 5 days. This rapid feedback creates motivation that helps maintain consistency with the practice, creating a positive cycle of improvement. Understanding and implementing this breathing technique brings profound psychological benefits beyond the physical improvements. Imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're actively addressing nighttime breathing issues rather than simply enduring disrupted sleep or relying on external devices. There's a special kind of confidence that develops when you transform from feeling helpless about nighttime breathlessness to having a practical tool that puts you back in control of your breathing and sleep quality. For many older adults, nighttime breathing difficulties create a persistent anxiety around sleep itself. The fear of waking gasping for air or experiencing that frightening sensation of breathlessness can make bedtime something to dread rather than welcome. By implementing this respiratory retraining approach, you replace that anxiety with confidence, knowing that you're actively improving your body's natural breathing mechanisms rather than just hoping for a good night's sleep. The social benefits are equally significant. When you consistently sleep better, you have more energy and patience for meaningful connections with others. The irritability and withdrawal that often accompany chronic sleep disruption can be replaced with engagement and joy in relationships. Many practitioners report that their partners also sleep better once the snoring and restless sleeping associated with poor breathing patterns diminishes, creating household-wide improvements in well-being. There's also a profound sense of empowerment that comes from addressing a health concern through your own efforts rather than dependency on external solutions. While devices and medications certainly have their place in treatment plans, there's unique satisfaction in knowing that you're helping restore your body's natural functions rather than simply compensating for dysfunction. This sense of agency is particularly valuable as we age and face various health challenges that can sometimes feel beyond our control. Remember that peaceful night's sleep we talked about at the beginning? By implementing this breathing technique consistently, you're reclaiming that fundamental experience that so directly connects to your overall quality of life. Restful sleep isn't a luxury, it's an essential biological need that affects everything from cognitive function to emotional resilience to physical health. By addressing the breathing mechanics that underlie many sleep disturbances, you're protecting not just your nights but the quality of your days as well. As we conclude this important discussion, let's quickly review what we've covered today. We've explored a powerful breathing technique that addresses the root causes of nighttime breathlessness through proper diaphragmatic engagement and positional reinforcement. We've learned that just 2 minutes of practice before sleep, performed consistently each night, can significantly improve breathing patterns throughout the night, leading to more restful sleep and better morning energy levels. But more importantly, we've discussed how this simple technique can be easily integrated into your existing bedtime routine, performed while already lying in bed, requiring no special equipment or significant time commitment. The key is consistency rather than duration. This isn't about adding another burdensome health regimen to your evening, but rather incorporating a brief practice that can transform the quality of your sleep and, by extension, your waking hours as well. Remember that this technique works by retraining one of your body's most fundamental functions. By consistently practicing proper diaphragmatic breathing before sleep, you gradually reprogram your neurological patterns so that optimal breathing becomes your default, even when unconscious. This isn't masking symptoms, it's addressing the underlying cause of many nighttime breathing difficulties in a way that promotes long-term improvement. The time to implement this practice is tonight, not after another week of disrupted sleep and morning fatigue. Breathing pattern changes often develop gradually over decades, but remarkably, they can begin to improve almost immediately with the right approach. Tonight is the perfect opportunity to begin this gentle, effective technique that could transform your sleep quality and overall health. Think about what's at stake here. Your ability to breathe comfortably throughout the night affects every aspect of your health, from your cognitive function to your emotional well-being to your long-term disease risk. It influences how fully you can participate in the activities you love and connect with the people who matter most to you. That's worth protecting with just 2 minutes of focused attention each night. I urge you not to wait to begin implementing this powerful breathing technique. Try it tonight, perhaps right after finishing this video. Lie in your preferred sleeping position, place one hand on your chest and one on your abdomen, and practice the diaphragmatic breathing pattern we've discussed, remembering to include the positional reinforcement. Notice how it feels. Pay attention to the sensations in your body. This simple practice, performed consistently, could make a tremendous difference in your sleep quality and overall well-being for years to come. Your breath is your constant companion, sustaining you through both wakefulness and sleep. By optimizing how you breathe during the night, you're protecting one of your body's most essential functions and setting the foundation for truly restorative sleep. And now that you have this information about this research-proven breathing technique, you're empowered to take this crucial step toward better health. Because breathing freely throughout the night isn't just about avoiding discomfort, it's about embracing the full vitality and well-being you deserve.